Hello, hello.
Hello.
Good morning. I've been watching Chip and Salsa since the day before yesterday.
Yeah. How do you enjoy it?
Yes, good.
Excellent.
I like the name too, Chip and Salsa.
Thank you. My friend Jerry came up with that. It was all his idea. But yeah, that's a fun time. We enjoy doing that. I get in trouble sometimes with the marketing people. They think we're a little too sassy.
Yes.
Guess we'll wait for Henrik or any of the other folks. Abdullah or Pierre Giorgio. Here's a link to the notes. Oh, let me go close my door. My wife is having her first call. And here's a link to the diagram we'll probably be talking about. It'll be slide 4. What we've been doing is we've using this diagram, we've been talking through the red lines, those flows there, and just confirming that that's how we wanted to represent them. And then eventually we will take the threat taxon, the supply chain threat taxonomy that Pierre Giorgio and Heinrich put together and apply that to this to see how we can break it, which I'm very excited to see. Did we make a channel for this group? I don't think we did. Just give it one more minute and see if Henrik has been running these calls. We'll see if he shows up. How everybody's doing today? Having a great Tuesday?
Magical.
I know it's not Patch Tuesday. Don't get too excited. It's just a regular old Tuesday.
Yeah, here in Tampa, Florida, the weather is actually cold, like 60, 68.
Oh, man. You are 20 degrees warmer than me. We're 40 here in Ohio. I'm headed down your way in a couple weeks.
It's supposed to be summer already. It's May. Half year summer here.
Do you have the giant stinky blob of seaweed near you in Tampa?
Giant blob. Oh yeah, that's that come and go.
Yeah.
I'm not really I don't go to the Gulf Coast that much, so yeah, I don't even know.
We're planning a trip down there, and we had toyed with the idea of going down to Key West, and I guess there's like a 5-mile long blob of rotting seaweed that everyone says makes them uncomfortable and smells very bad.
It happens from time to time. Yeah, I would say if you depend on when you come, if you come right now, you might want to. I know you have enough clothes, but some people come in shorts and find it's actually cold here in the summer sometimes.
Well, I'll make sure to tell everyone to pack some pants. All right, we'll give Heinrich one more minute and see if he or Pierre Giorgio or Abdullah come. And if not, we may adjourn. I am not prepared to run the call.
Well, let me just take this opportunity to ask questions then. This is
Sure.
this is the reason I'm here.
Please.
Okay, so as you already know, I'm new to security, and so this type of end user related security meeting is probably the proper for me. So that exercise been done the past 2 weeks has been pretty useful for me. One thing I probably it'll be helpful for someone like me to understand is the scope. For example, when you and Henry talking about the graph and all the components, it for a newbie like me, I don't know the so-called attack library. So if it, I know, so we also decided that the scope, it doesn't include like hardware, firmware, things like that, right? So what is, if we have a attack library that's in scope, that will help someone like me to sometime even pitch in to see, okay, this is in the attack library and it's not being discussed. So that might be something that's
Yeah.
oh, okay, you already have one.
Yeah, we posted it in. So Heinrich and Pierre Giorgio and a few others had done a paper, and that actually came into the end user working group where they were talking about their taxonomy.
Okay.
And for a talk I did, and I'm doing again in the fall, I used it, and it was quite useful to kind of illustrate here's how a supply chain works and how the different attacks that can be conducted against it. So our exercise we're doing here in this group, it's focused on consumers, so end users. So think about a bank, a manufacturer, an insurance company, anyone that does some form of software development that uses open source components. So we're not looking at upstream things that happen like at Kubernetes or OpenSSL. This is the diagram on slide 4. Think of that as kind of the four walls of a company. And we're applying that taxonomy, and we're just looking at software attacks. We're not looking at insider threat. We're not looking at kind of physical attacks. We're not looking at a lot of other kind of InfoSec style, cybersecurity style threats. We're just focused on the software piece for now. And the goal is to educate these types of open source consumers. These are problems that you could experience, and here are some controls or some techniques you can apply to avoid them.
So that white paper you posted, is that, does it include all the attack libraries basically?
It does. It does.
Awesome.
It has all the listed attacks that they documented. I found it very, very useful. And they've been talking to folks, like I know the CNCF has a similar effort, and I believe they've talked with those folks and kind of harmonized some of it. So there's if you had any feedback on the paper, like if you had ideas of other types of attacks that might not be documented, or you had another paper that you found useful, feed that to Heinrich and Pierre Giorgio.
One thing I find, because I also joined those CNCF meetings, most of them, just simply have time.
Never enough time.
Yeah, one thing I have found is because I'm a database guy, so so anything database related security has not been gone in depth, at least. So I even talked to Justin, the NYU professor, that he also acknowledged that there's not as much in-depth analysis on that. So that's where I'm pretending to be expert, because I did database security a long time ago, actually, as part of the enterprise security effort. So one area I feel that for this diagram that's being worked on, there is a concept of zero trust. So when we're describing on the actual, the basically threat modeling we're doing, right? So is there any opportunity anywhere in this process to say, okay, for example, so is there any possibility to define where we can actually implement that zero trust philosophy or workflow? For
I
example,
think so.
yeah, like for example, network, right? For network, we know if we do microsegmentation, that's basically a big step towards zero trust. So
Yep.
in this stuff we're doing for enterprise application software, where can we do similar things so that people don't have to worry about each individual threat, instead of just focus on make the design safe, basically go what is called shift left, right?
Yep.
By design.
Yeah, I don't think that what you're talking about. What you're not going to see that in the patterns that they have in the paper. But I think ultimately our work product is we want these end consumers to be safer and have higher levels of assurance of their software. And if there are techniques like microsegmentation, mutual authentication, zero trust, all these types of things, I think we definitely need to put that kind of in our final work product, saying these are compensating or mitigating controls that you also need to consider outside of how you're managing software, because that's, you need to have the kind of the whole picture of your security program. And I agree that the database is something, to me, it's kind of a witchcraft and a dark art. I've worked a lot with DBAs in my career, but it's never something I've ever learned. And normally it's always glossed over. There isn't a lot of literature that I've read around securing databases and whatnot, outside of encrypt things at rest, encrypt in transport, encrypt in use.
Yeah, if you look at the one of the NIST, is that NIST or is that there's actually a zero trust white paper, and like they actually mentioned.
Might have been CISA. I think CISA did one.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, CISA zero trust maturity model. So in there they actually describe have a maturity model for data security.
Really?
Yeah. I'm
Well,
actually using that as a base
nice.
to follow. One thing I find, but I think there are two kinds of data security actually.
Mhm.
There's a data content. So what they actually describe in there, I actually recommend that paper for this group probably, because what they mentioned is like classification of information,
Mhm.
right? How to do that, and which one is higher security and all that. So
Mhm.
that's more related to application security. But there are also the database security, which is basically the container of the database.
Mhm.
Not, I don't mean the Kubernetes container, just
Yeah, yeah.
the box of the data, right? Where the data
Yep.
lives. Yeah,
Yep.
that security is actually different from data classification security and all that. It's
Mhm.
kind of related, but not directly. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a great topic to bring in here. I think it'd be excellent feedback. And I don't know that they talk about concepts of like data labeling to make decisions off of. So I think that again would be good feedback to help make our final product as we get rolling better.
They actually, I think they have that. They have
Do
that
they have
in
like
that
data
maturity
labeling?
model. Yeah, that sees a maturity model.
No, I meant the Pierre Giorgio and Heinrich's paper.
I haven't read that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's again it's focused on how you can break software, build build and deploy. So it's again focused a little bit differently than the CISA one.
Yeah.
But I think that would be excellent to kind of augment our work here if we kind of consider these outside things.
All right. Yeah, I don't have anything else. I just go
All
back
right.
and watch Chip and Saucer.
Yeah. Is anyone, Francis or Randall, do you have anything you'd like to discuss? I'm sorry that the folks didn't show up today. Would have been a much better conversation if somebody knew what they were doing was here.
Just to be clear, there is an actual education meeting on Saturday?
No.
I didn't think so.
My friend Khalil probably pinned it on a date, like the 20th of every month, as opposed to the last Thursday of a month, something like that.
Fair. All right. I was just making sure.
Yeah, I'll ask him to make some cleanup, do some cleanup on the calendar.
Fair. No, I'm good. Other than that, I'm good.
All right. Well, I'm sure our next meeting will be amazing. That'll be the week after the summit. So
Are you all attending the summit?
I will be.
Cool. Randall, Victor, are you attending?
I don't think so, because I'm just getting into my LF job, so like still trying to roll with the punches. So yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, not me either. I'm independent right now, so nobody's sending me there.
Yeah, I understand. I'll probably be paying my own way to Spain. We'll see.
I will
Yeah.
be at Spain. I will be at Spain.
Wow.
I
Cool.
know.
What about Tokyo?
I think I might be at Tokyo as well. Tim wants me to send me around, so
If
he
I
said
get
I
to go
have
to
no choice in the
Tokyo,
matter.
if I get to go to Tokyo, I'm going to arrange a field trip to the Godzilla Museum,
Oh, I'm so into that.
and we're going to zip line into his mouth.
I'm down.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you. Sorry it wasn't a more productive call, but at least we got to have some interesting perspective from Victor. I think some future directions for us. So thanks all, and enjoy the rest of your hour.
Have a good day.
Bye, Grob.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.